Well, I guess I'll start talking about 2011's Thor, which is the next, I guess, entry into the Marvel Phase 1 cinematic universe. And what's a brilliant thing about that is, again, a very sort of prolific director in Kenneth Branagh, who is better known as a Shakespearean actor, and he becomes the director. And I think, obviously, we get Chris Hemsworth as Thor, which is a brilliant casting as well.
Unknown dude, kind of like meatheady, but
from what I heard, he was sort of the Vin Diesel of Australia at the time. I mean, look, Australia, they're big on their soaps, so he was Home and Away, which I think you either do Home and Away or Neighbours. Those are the two big soaps down there, and every prolific Australian actor now that we know has either done that at some point. So they all know each other, and they've all done that show.
And and the Branagh hire, out of the box, really, really intelligent.
And apparently,
so we'll handle the special effects, you handle the story and the acting.
Exactly. But apparently, he was a huge Thor fan growing up. So you have someone who knows the material as well as knowing, I don't know, all of Shakespeare's plays. But from what I heard, he was doing a play with Tom Hiddleston on the West End when he got the news, and he goes, "Oh my God, I'm going to direct Thor. This is going to be amazing." And Tom Hiddleston came in with a huge water bottle, and he goes, "Haha, I'm Thor," right? And he goes, "You never know, my dear boy." And Tom Hiddleston actually auditioned for Thor.
That's hilarious.
And there's footage. Someone did the internet's wonderful. They put the test footage with the real movie and made it all from Loki's point of view. So there's footage of Tom Hiddleston, and he is ripped. Like he's this tall, skinny guy.
Right.
But he put on muscle for this test footage, and he's got long blonde hair, and he's holding the hammer, and you see him, and the way they've cut it makes it look like he is trying to be Thor, and it just doesn't work. And then it goes into the movie. But people don't like this movie, and I like it a lot.
Well, I think it's I feel like people really like it more than not.
Well, I think both Thor movies get
I think Thor 2 is a
see, I like that one more than a lot of people.
Yeah, I did. It was too boring.
And again, so brilliant casting in Anthony
Hopkins.
Brilliant as Odin.
Right, and that's all because of hiring Kenneth Branagh.
Right.
And again, taking the source material and all your material, not deathly serious, because Thor is sort of humorless.
Right. Well,
until they get to Earth.
Well, and we're going to find out also there's going to be some humor coming up in Thor Ragnarok
from him and Hulk, and their relationship.
Well, and the director Taika Waititi, if that's his name, or however you say it.
I'm going with you on this
one. But so I like Thor. I think it's a great movie. I like that it sort of all takes place in this sort of New Mexican small town. Yeah. How do you feel about like Natalie Portman and everything?
I feel like she's like the free agent you sign in the off season for your favorite team, and you pay her a lot of money. You probably pay her the most money on the team, and she gives you the least effort.
Well, because I think she was on board for the first movie. And she's doing her thing, and she's trying and everything. And then as it goes along,
it's just not her bag.
She didn't like it, and she goes, "Look, I've done Star Wars,
but she's also not
Thor. I'm done."
See, to me, too, and going back to the casting and the brilliance of Marvel, the linchpin to me throughout this entire universe
is Loki.
Scarlett Johansson.
Interesting.
She shows up in every movie.
From
every series except for Thor.
Right.
So she's in Iron Man. She's in Captain America. She's in the Avengers. She's in basically everything but the strength of her character and her performance and her sense of humor with her no guff taken.
Right. She got moxie.
She's just so perfectly cast and
again, that's Jon Favreau.
Yeah, and her.
Right.
And her.
But I mean, to give her the shot.
Completely.
And this is her. This is the girl. Yeah. This is the woman.
And Marvel's foresight to be able to, her Swiss Army knife ability to be able to go into any film and make it better.
Right.
Better.
And when we get to Winter Soldier, I mean, I think she carries that movie
completely
as much as Chris Evans does. And she's brilliant in it.
And she has the same earnestness and strength that both Superman and that Captain America have.
I think so too.
And because Chris Evans to me changed the rest of, he solidified everything that Marvel is.
I agree.
But she to me is
You think she's
the
linchpin?
timeline. Like, she's the person who makes everything completely work.
Well, and then I think, additionally to that, I think Loki may be the only bad guy who does that as well for this universe. 'Cause
Right.
every bad guy we have shows up and leaves, shows up and leaves. Loki is the only one who continually comes back. So again, he's sometimes... It depends what mask he's wearing, whether he is the villain, whether he is an ally that you can't trust, whether he's the trickster, all these different things.
I always loved in the comic books growing up that they were brothers or half-brothers, whatever the case may be, because in a lot of the stuff I read, and it was both also within Greek mythology.
Norse mythology.
Norse mythology. It was always Greek. Mythology to me was always Greek.
Yeah, no one else had any.
Yeah, the way whiskey is sometimes
Scotch,
but Scotch isn't always whiskey.
Yes.
But it was always mythology.
Right.
The Loki Thor story, because they were brothers. So no matter what, like Thor always fell for just his own hope to have a good relationship with his brother.
He's a guy just trying.
And then the brother who doesn't give one flying F about anything his brother is doing for him and how much of his life his brother has sacrificed to have a relationship with him, and that it's perfectly played in the film.
Well, I mean, the other real thing about it is, I mean, and again, it's brilliant to bring Kenneth Branagh in because it's Shakespearean.
Completely.
It's two brothers. They're two princes, essentially, because Loki is really the son of the snow giant in Jotunheim, Laufey, who's actually a female character in the comic books and in Norse mythology, but they made him a man for some reason in the movie.
Who wrote this? Gandalf?
Jeez Louise. But yeah, so you have two princes vying for a throne, and there can only be one, essentially. Even Anthony Hopkins, as Odin says, there can only be one of you, but you're both kings, essentially. And so, as much as this is a Thor origin story, it's a Loki origin story as well, because he finds out, I'm a frost giant. I'm the thing that, people scare their kids at night to go to bed with.
And now I also know why I felt the way I felt my whole stupid life.
Yeah.
And why I
feel unworthy.
Love but hate my brother.
Right. And he does love him in a way, but he does hate him.
Yeah, he's like the puppy that he never wanted that grew into a dog.
Right.
Is Loki's older, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Thor's older.
Thor's
right?
older, yeah. Thor's the elder son.
And because I always assumed Loki was the older son because of his contempt for the throne. Because I always assumed that it was he didn't get the throne because he was half frost giant, not because he was in birth order.
Oh, I thought it was definitely in birth order, and then also because he was a frost giant. Like, obviously, Odin knew his parentage.
Well, and especially in the movie, he's bastardized. If it's his
enemies.
Rene Russo. Was it Rene Russo's kid?
No.
They both had the same mother, I thought.
No. So technically, even though he's his brother, he's adopted.
So he's Moses.
No, he's taken. Like, if you see, there's the flashback where Odin is fighting the frost giants, and he has the baby, and he goes, "I just saw this innocent child, and I thought maybe if I raised him, I could raise him essentially to be the king of Jotunheim, and then there'd be peace between our people."
And then, oops, we had Thor.
Right.
See, that's why I think Thor is older.
But Thor may have already been born.
I mean, younger.
No, I think Thor was already born.
Huh.
They're around the same age. But
Irish twins.
Irish twins, exactly. So, all in all, I think Thor 1 is a great movie. And
bad villain. Bad thing that destroys the...
the Destroyer?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't really call him the villain. I would call Loki the villain.
Yeah.
So,
but Loki was also... yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Loki has his own plan. He lets in the frost giants, and he's trying to make it... You think he's going to kill Odin, but no, he saves Odin. He wants to be looked at as the favored son in his father's eye. So, and then we lose him. Like, you think Thor thinks he's dead. He lets go and he falls into this wormhole, never to be seen again, like all the other Marvel,
storylines.
So, from there, what's the past scene, or what's the next scene from that? Because look,
it's Captain America's shield in the ground, right? Oh, you talking about final scene?
Yeah, or the tag.
Isn't it Captain America's shield?
I thought it was Loki in Eric Selvig's head, or is that later?
Can't remember.
Loki comes back, but anyway,
Yeah.
we're all moving forward through this phase 1,
Right.
and it's getting good.
We've had great success with Iron Man 1 and 2.
Right.
Now we've had a big hiccup in the road, and a hiccup in the road in terms of their film production, and like
You're talking about Incredible Hulk.
yeah,
Yeah.
and with what they experienced with that,
Right.
and
Now
having
we're-
a difficult work experience.
Right. Now we're back on track with Thor.
And we've made a shit ton of money with Iron Man 2.
Right.
So now Thor
Which I think
comes
did
out,
well.
and I think the thing with Thor was people were surprised it wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah.
Not so much that it was a good movie, is that they were pleasantly surprised it wasn't a bad movie.
And again, it's a third-tier character considered by, everybody that people didn't really know, and they go, "Who is this guy?" Oh, cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Now we get to 2011, again, same year, Captain America.
Right. A few months later,
Mm-hmm.
now Captain America comes out.
And people kind of throw this one under the bus a little bit too.
Really?
I love this movie.
Love.
Because it's a period piece.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see a World War II movie. And again, Chris Evans in the superhero realm, we had seen him in the 2 Fantastic Four movies.
Right.
As the Human Torch, as Johnny Storm. And look, he's doing his thing, and he's
But it's almost so much so because he was, I thought, so good as a Human Torch that you just negate the fact that he's an actor.
Right.
And you forget that, oh man, like that's why I think Captain America works so well for me, is he is so earnest and he is so not the Human Torch.
He is what...
And he was the best part of those Fantastic Four movies.
Exactly. But he is now, as Captain America, as Steve Rogers, he is what I think the Superman should be, in the earnestness, in the, golly gee, home America, sort of thing.
The ideal. The ideal 50s American.
Apple pie American, for sure. And that's what we're sort of missing from Superman now. So he puts this persona on, or whatever, of this 1950s man, and I just think it's a great movie. We get the Red Skull. We get
Who's amazing. He's such a great Red Skull.
The other brilliant thing about this movie that we haven't even touched on yet is isn't this the first introduction of the first Infinity Stone, and what will be the thread
I'm not going to say yes.
to 10 years of movies in the Tesseract, the cube. So here's our first look. I mean, if you want to go into it, like even in Thor, you go through the throne room or the weapons chamber, and you see the Infinity Gauntlet with all the stones in it, and they're backtracking now and saying, actually there are 2 Infinity Gauntlets. If you notice, one's a right-handed one, one's a left-handed. I think it was just something cool to put in to a Thor movie, and now they're like, oh yeah, but we were building this universe and we need to do it. So I mean, obviously we built up 10 years worth of movies through 3 phases that we're coming to the end to right now. In the Avengers Infinity War 2-parter.
Avengers 4, I hear, is going to be the end of the Marvel, this Marvel
run.
universe.
Right. So, but we get the first Infinity Stone.
I read it
I
this morning.
I heard through the internet.
I heard through the old grape net.
But yeah, I love the Captain America movie.
Same.
I think it's great, and they play it well. And he and Haley Atwell as Agent Carter, I love all of it.
Terrific.
His Howling Commandos are great.
Tommy Lee Jones is off the hook.
He doesn't get a lot of credit for like building this too.
And technically, this is the first movie in the universe.
If you want to chronologically do it, yes.
And it works perfect.
Because it is called Captain America, the first Avenger.
Right.
So yeah, before we even get.
But Hugo Weaving, amazing.
And it's weird. I want to know. I still want to know what happened to Red Skull.
And I want to see him again.
Because when he unlocks the Tesseract, he sort of gets sent into what looks like the Rainbow Bridge from Thor. So I'm going, did he go to
I'm not sure, but I
Asgard?
do believe he will be in Infinity War.
Interesting.
I believe
he comes back as this sort of cosmic energy type thing. Okay.
Or was relegated to that realm.
Right.
And has been plotting with those realm
Well, and again,
plotters.
if you look at Norse mythology, it was sort of these different realms in Norse mythology. That was a lot what was drawn on from J.R.R. Tolkien to get into Lord of the Rings. So I mean, Midgard literally means Middle Earth,
Right.
Asgard, for the. So I liked the simple explanation that Thor gives to Jane Foster, going, okay, just look at these these 9 worlds or realms. They're just different planets, and we can travel between, we're intergalactic beings,
Right.
essentially. I'm an alien. It's an alien invasion movie, just on a different sort of scale, in a way.
With one of the aliens getting there first.
Yeah, that's
and
all.
being like, yo, they're coming.
They're coming. So, yeah, Captain America establishes everything, basically, of, who our leader is going to be, in a way. And we get here's the story of how he became him. Here's his origin story in World War II. Frozen, wakes up. It's now 2012. And he meets...
And real quick.
Yeah.
Now, the most important part of this, which I think was never established in the first Avenger,
Yes.
is his relationship with Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see Bucky do in those in the first Avenger for Cap to have such a hard on? It's saving this dude at every waking...
Every subsequent
For
movie
for
after that.
100 years, he's trying to stop...
It is
people
100 years, yeah.
from trying to stop people from killing this dude.
Well, I think we don't see it because we see...
Because he took him on a double date, right?
No, well, we
and
see
then was
Steve,
even like, yo, dude, you're kind of a bitch.
But they've known each other since they were kids. Just because Steve Rogers looks like a child when we first meet him because he's like a 4 foot nothing. But I think you feel the friendship there. And yeah, they do go on a double date and they he's like, dude, don't get into this war. We got enough people. He's like, but again, the earnestness and the 1950 or 1940s really Captain America. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Thought that one was gonna pass.
Yeah. He just, he doesn't like bullies. Also, Stanley Tucci is pitch perfect in this movie.
Yeah.
He
But
plays such
he doesn't like bullies. When the dude becomes a Winter Soldier, he's not Bucky. You're not saving Bucky. You're saving this dude who, again, we went on a double date. This is what you slept on my floor when you were 16.
Again, if you want to talk about it comes back to the loneliness of superheroes. Everyone he knows is dead. I know they kept Agent Carter alive, but she is obviously old, going through dementia. His only connection to the past, and not only was he his friend before he was Captain America, once he was Captain America, he was in his Howling Commandos. He was his right-hand guy. So though we saw a couple of missions before Bucky fell from the train and died, quote unquote, they've been through war together. They that bonds you for life. That
Gotcha.
is his
all right, very
own,
fair.
Yeah, so that's my sort
Take
of thing.
on Bucky.
Yeah. So
I'm
again,
just saying the guy wasn't that good of a friend, is all I'm saying.
and when you get to the Avengers, which does come next, I mean, even Captain America is sitting there going, I get that reference. I don't understand that reference. Here's another human being who you grew up with me. You know what we've gone through, and we've been frozen together, and you know all the references that I know. I've been just spending the last...
So it's pop culture. It's being able to discuss pop culture that he breaks with the group that is saving the world.
It is the only reason you and I are getting together on
so
these
he can do it.
weekends.
So he can do a Dizzy Gillespie reference.
Yeah.
And somebody at his table will laugh.
He needs this. Don't take this away from him.
But yeah, I love the first Avenger.
I love the first Avenger.
Everything about it.
And we get Zolar as well.
And also, yeah,
Which is great.
and he's great.
He's brilliant.
And
we
but
didn't
it
know he's
also
going to come
now
back.
solidifies our trust in Marvel.
Yes.
That now, okay,
And we have our team. Our team is set. So we've had Iron Man twice. We've had Hulk. But again, you can sort of gloss over it because once we get to Avengers, we don't really care about Bruce Banner. We care about the Hulk
Right.
doing what the Hulk does. Then you got your Thor and you got Captain America. Those are your Avengers.
we're set.
And again, in Thor, I forget, or well, again, you said in Iron Man, we've established we've got Black Widow.
Right.
So you've got another Avenger, and then you see a
And
very
we've had sprinklings of Fury throughout the
whole
entire thing.
In fact, at the end of Captain America, when he wakes up in the future, in what we are considering the present, he goes, "You've been asleep for 70 years, Cap. We got a lot to talk about." And he's like, Miss my date, essentially. But in Thor, you get a quick glimpse of Hawkeye as well. So they introduce him without having to do an entire backstory on who Hawkeye is, what he does. Like, he's got the shot.
He's right there.
He could kill Thor, or he could shoot him with an arrow.
He's up there in his nest.
Right, which is in the Avengers. So we come to the culmination of what is Phase 1, the Avengers. And they hire Joss Whedon. Another, like, out of the box going, this guy, this is great. What a brilliant idea.
Oh, man. And, like, it's also, is sort of more of a casual fan, not knowing his pedigree and not knowing how much. And I think this is true for all the directors. And to Favreau as well, we didn't discuss, is how much connection they have to their material.
Yeah. And these are people who grew up with these characters and love them. Apparently, Joss Whedon came in and read whatever script they had for the Avengers and went, no, this is not them. And he rewrote it, and we got what we got.
Right.
And, you know, when I first saw the Avengers, I thought I was going through it, and I was like, it's a little slow, but I understand why. He is taking basically the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies we've just seen and putting it together and then forming the team. Like, there are so many team-up movies now, but you've got to take the time to form the team. So the team comes together unconventionally. They all fall apart. And I thought it was brilliant to make Loki the foil, the bad guy. And I don't know, it just fires on all cylinders.
And he's working for Thanos?
Yes.
Right.
Which we don't know until the end. So, and it's also the introduction of the second Infinity Stone, which is Loki's Loki Pokey
Scepter.
Stick. Yeah. So
his Pokey Stick.
Loki Pokey Stick. So the Scepter.
And Avengers comes out, and in the first
crushes the box office,
but just blows you out of the water.
Yeah.
Because it's
the culmination.
It's the highlight of your favorite things about each character.
I think, in my opinion, obviously there's so many good things in that movie, but when they all land in New York at the same time, and they're doing the spin around camera move, and you see them all together, you're like, this is it. This is it gets goosebumps.
Chillsy.
Yeah, you get chills because you're like, there they are.
And to add on to that, to me, the key to the whole thing, and is Banner is incredible. Mark Ruffalo is so great as Banner.
And I'll tell you, I was not a fan of Mark Ruffalo up until this movie. Everything I saw him in, I thought, God, he seems sort of whiny and bored. Like, it seems like he doesn't want to be there. I don't know how this guy keeps getting work.
Why he ever took a job as an actor.
Why he ever took
He doesn't want to do it.
Know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Since he's been Banner, I love him. And I think, he's doing interesting things. I mean, he gets into Foxcatcher and like everything he does, I'm like, it's so intricate now. But
Spotlight, he was incredible in Spotlight. Did you ever see Zodiac?
I didn't, but I hear he's quite good at it.
That movie is underrated.
Yeah, everybody says that.
As hell. That movie
Isn't that a Fincher?
Great. Well, it can't be underrated if everybody says it.
Everybody says it's underrated. Is it a Fincher movie? I think it is. Yeah.
And it's...
I'd love to see David Fincher do a take on a superhero movie.
He'd probably do 100 takes on a superhero movie.
Very true. Clap, clap, clap.
Thank you. But that's where, like... Because I'd seen Ruffalo in a few things. Like, okay, that guy's okay. Because he's not anything that stands out until you rewatch him, and then you're like, oh, this dude's doing everything. He is so good in Zodiac, and so's Gyllenhaal. That movie's just, I can't recommend seeing that movie enough.
That's Bobby's recommendation for the week. Go see Zodiac. So, but
Ruffalo comes in and shreds every scene he's in, and he's showing up, Captain America, Iron Man, like these great actors, and he has completely created and made Banner completely unique.
Well, and what I love about it, look, there are a few things. Well, we can get also into like Eric Selvig is back, and he's under Loki's control. They take over Hawkeye, so now a man who's supposed to be on the team but is obviously a lot of trouble because he's so skilled at what he does is now on the opposite team.
And has intricate knowledge of your operation.
Exactly. And your friend and his best friend, which is Agent Romanoff, which is Black Widow, now has to fight him, but obviously knows he's under Loki's spell from the Loki Pokey Stick. But a few scenes that stick out for me just in this movie is I love that when Tony Stark and Bruce Banner get together, they're kind of science nerds, and they kind of get
Right.
and it's sort of like, oh, we're the only two who can do this on the ship or on the
And, like,
helicarrier. Finally, and
I have a friend here.
There's a rapport there, and you're like, oh, okay. I think Joss Whedon did such a brilliant job of going, here's where these people are going to connect on whatever level. You know what I mean? And the little jokes with Thor of like, all right, Point Break.
Point Break.
He has
See,
no
that's
idea.
all Downey Jr. Right.
Who Point? Like, he doesn't know
that
what
joke
Point
is
Break
for us.
Yes,
it's not for him.
It's not for Thor. Yeah.
But it's also in that movie, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, is the steady force throughout.
Right.
Because she's on the Avengers, but she's the only one that works for
S.H.I.E.L.D.
For S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. She's Nick Fury's right hand.
And takes both jobs seriously, but still has a sense of humor and
and has her own
she
agenda.
plays it perfect.
Has her own agenda as well. She's playing. She's putting on different hats all the time. You're never quite sure, even throughout these movies. I mean, I think even Captain America says, "Whose side are you?" Like, I'm never quite sure.
Right, and I don't think, and she's not.
Right.
So I think she had such a wonderful balance to the group.
Yeah.
Banner's killing it, and
Tom Hiddleston doesn't get enough credit for he drives this movie as well as the villain. I love when he's in Germany and that whole German thing and the guy who stands up in the crowd, and then out of nowhere comes Captain America to go, last time I was in Germany. Like, it's such a Hitler reference. Right. And then again with Scarlett Johansson, Agent Romanoff is sitting there, and then all of a sudden comes on the Brian Johnson music. AC/DC, and in flies Iron Man and Cap. Great, and then the fight between Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. Right. You're seeing, so it's like what you played with as toys as a kid. You can tell that Joss Whedon went, first I want this, then I want this, and then we build and build and build.
And the way Thor lands on the ship, it's almost like the Twilight Zone movie.
Yes.
Where the creature is ripping the plane apart. Like, it's everything
awesome.
Works.
It's so good.
For me, like, what blew me away was the scene on the ship where you see the Hulk. Where you see the Hulk
goes nuts, rather?
That whole sequence up until Thor knocks him out.
Right. And there's another one where you're like, oh, Thor and the Hulk are going to fight on a helicarrier. Right. Like he splits them up in different groupings to fight each other. Like, there's all the internal turmoil of, like, this can't be a team, we're a time bomb, blah, 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 blah. And then, obviously, Agent Coulson's death brings them together.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. So, I mean,
and the Hulk running through, chasing Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And then just smacks her.
Well, and for someone who does not get phased to actually go, I was afraid.
Yeah.
This is that's real fear.
Completely.
Because there's nothing I can do in this.
And the last thing you would expect from her.
Yeah.
Is to be afraid of something.
And to admit it.
And to be that afraid.
Right. So when they come and it's the big invasion, and this is such an alien invasion movie at its core.
Right.
When the Chitauri come in and everything's going to hell, and they finally do the team up, and they're all there. Nothing gives me more chills than when Captain America takes point, or Iron Man tells him, he goes, call it, Cap.
Right.
Okay, you do this, I need eyes in the sky, so Hawkeye, you're up there, this and there. And the best thing is Hulk.
Ever.
Smash.
The best ever.
Just smash.
That and him
and it goes
driving up.
Yeah.
As they gather up.
Well, this is terrible.
I mean, dude.
Such a throwaway line.
Like, the three things that stick out to me most in that movie are all the Hulk related. Running through. Well, that was horrible.
Right.
I mean, then Hulk smash. Holy mackerel. Well, using that line right. Sorry.
No, I love it. It's so good. And then I love the whole, Mr. Banner, this might be a good time to get angry.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. And he just busts out and destroys that giant squid whale
Punches
thing.
you right in the head. But, dude.
And then Iron Man blows it up.
A line that encapsulates, I feel, everybody who ever liked the Hulk.
Mm-hmm. The Hulk smash
and could
line.
relate to who could relate to the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, if you, there were always, personalities who bought certain comics.
Right.
And, people who like the Hulk, that was every gratification for everything you read about. I'm always angry.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That's awesome.
And then Hulk smash and using that line right.
Yes.
Because
he doesn't even say it.
And then puny God.
Yeah, the puny God thing. But I was going to say the last thing is
Sorry.
the brilliance of making Loki get it. you insolent swine, you are nothing. I am a god. Boom, boom, boom. It's brilliant.
Right. The simplicity of the complexity.
Yes.
is the fact that it comes down to the Hulk. Okay, there isn't really a way to defeat this guy. Oh, okay. If
He's
you
just
do
stronger.
smash him like a rag doll,
Yeah.
with the strongest force on Earth, you probably have a chance to get everything else settled in the meantime.
And I guess the huge plot point also is that Iron Man, willing to sacrifice himself to save New York from a nuke that we're just nuke Manhattan to get rid of all these guys, sends it through the wormhole and he's ready to die. So I mean, the real hero is Iron Man,
Right.
With the typical superhero self-sacrifice,
And it's also, the whole reason for it is because of him.
right?
Because all of
He's
this
caused all this
exists
trouble.
at his, well, it all exists at his building.
Right.
And it's the only place with a sustainable energy, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
that can create
He causes
the laser
all the
in
trouble
sky.
every time,
Right.
So,
So he kind of has to, and then which leads perfectly into Ultron. But real quick on the Avengers note, for me is, of course, like I never ever doubted that about Tony Stark, was that he does it his way, but
he's gonna do
of
it.
course he's gonna do it. Like, this sounds so dumb, and I know how ridiculous this is, and how crazy this is for me to admit. Not crazy, whatever. But Spider-Man 2,
Yes.
when he stops the trains with the
Right, the subway. With
thing, and they knock him out, and his mask comes off, and they're looking at him, they're like,
he's just a kid.
dude, fucking start bawling.
Yeah.
Start bawling. And the only other, I cried for when I saw Sabretooth fight Wolverine. And then,
How high were you during these?
not too bad for,
All right.
for,
so it's not a weed cry? It's
yeah,
just,
no, like pure emotion. Like, dude,
Interesting.
like that made the most sense to me about Spidey.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
it's
sure
just
I
a
teared
kid.
up in a bunch of these and I just
It's
don't
just
remember.
a kid doing this.
Yeah.
It's like because
Like he says, he goes, this could be my kid.
right.
Yeah.
But is your kid this smart and like works this hard to save people he doesn't know?
Right.
Like,
While
like
being a
that's
top photographer. By the way, we skipped over J.K. Simmons' brilliant performance
Unbelievable.
as J. Jonah Jameson. Like, as cartoonish as it is, that is like from the page
Right.
to the screen, brilliant.
and again, respect for character, respect for an actor at the pre-height of his powers.
Right.
Of like,
Brilliant.
okay, this dude's going,
Going to be something.
and he's 50 at the time.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, no, J.K. was such a great
I digress from that, yeah.
thing. Well, and with Avengers of Iron Man being the hero, and I just was, of course, like Cap would have done it if it was Cap's.
Right.
All of them would have done it.
Probably. It was just Tony's turn.
And I love to, and it's come up now in like 30 comic book movies. Yeah, send the nuke. Like,
What's it gonna do?
send the nuke.
Yeah.
Right? Nuke Manhattan.
Nuke, yeah. We gotta contain this thing. Better send the
Batman,
nuke.
Superman.
Yeah,
Nuke's Superman.
yeah.
Okay. What?
Well, that was in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. There is a whole nuke thing, and
We've
Superman.
taken liberty
Yeah.
with some of the comic book. Everything doesn't have to be exact with the like.
Right, I'm just saying that Zack Snyder read what I think, in my opinion, were like the coolest parts of Dark Knight Returns, and yeah, let's put that in the movie. Oh yeah, let's do the death of Superman. Let's
Oh,
do
that
as
was
much-
it.
Yeah,
Dude, in Dark Knight Rises, holy crap. When Michael Caine is crying at his grave,
yeah.
and I failed you.
I fired
Dude,
you.
bawling.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sitting next to that chick who's checking her thing every 3 minutes, and I'm
And
just
you
like,
stop it and put it away.
please stop.
So,
But bawling, and it's
Yeah.
for me, and like again thinking about it, the thing I like most about these movies, or the characters that I really love the most, are the ones who are about to self-sacrifice,
yeah.
and the inherent goodness in doing something that could cost you your life, and then having these characters represent it, and these actors truly representing that.
Well, as we finish phase one, I mean, I've always sort of wondered, why do we like superheroes so much? And I know you think all mythology is Greek, but these guys are kind of our mythology, isn't it? These are especially the DC pantheon, if you look at it. I mean, you've got, Batman as your Hades, you've got Aquaman as your Poseidon, you've got Superman or Shazam or, their Captain Marvel with lightning bolts coming out of them as your Zeus. Wonder Woman is Hera or Athena. Flash is Hermes. This is our pantheon of Greek gods, and you've got the same in the Marvel universe. These are our godlike figures that we look to teach us lessons of right and wrong and how the world works and this and that. It's just our version of.
We just anointed them with powers that make sense to our universe.
Right.
Like if we grew up in Greece 1,600 years ago, all that stuff would make as much sense.
I don't know, because, Zeus throws lightning bolts. So does Thor. We literally took a Norse, mythological character and just made him one of our superheroes.
Right.
And I say we as if I'm Stan Lee or any of those guys who created him.
Well, what people can't see is that you have that green visor hat on. You are typing a Greek myth story.
I am. That's right, spider friends. Excelsior. So, Avengers ends. Thor and Loki go back to Asgard with the Tesseract, and Phase 1 ends.
And our minds have exploded.
Our minds have exploded.
Our minds have in joy and happiness.
And our heroes go on their separate ways, except for Bruce Banner, who goes with Tony to work at Stark Industries, from what we understand. And Nick Fury says, hey, when we need them again, the Avengers will be back. And you're going, there's no way to top this. Phase 2 opens, and you go, okay, so now they all know or are aware of each other. Why now that we're going back to singular movies, which again is very comic booky, of like there's an Avengers basically collaboration of all these characters, and then Iron Man goes back to his Iron Man story, Captain America goes back to his Captain America story,
and now at this point outside of the universe, Marvel has now been bought for an obscene amount by Disney,
right? But again, Kevin Feige is still the head of Marvel Studios. He's still the I don't know, the craftsman, the head of the ship.
Louis B. Mayer.
Yes, the Louis B. Mayer.
He's just got different bosses.
He's got different bosses, but he is essentially the boss of everything, and everything goes through him.
What is, what's that term? The Coupa de Capa?
I have no idea. The Coupa de Capa?
The Buca de Beppo? The Capo de Capos. The boss of all bosses.
Yes. So, he does.
I'm sure it's not that at all.
Internet, send it to us and we probably won't read it. That's going to be my thing now. Just send it to us and we probably won't read it. But we open with 2013's Iron Man 3. Thoughts?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So, first time Jon Favreau not doing an Iron Man film. He's still in it as Happy Hogan, who is his bodyguard, friend, and driver.
chubby confidant.
And they bring on Shane Black, I think, at Robert Downey Jr.'s
who basically remade his film career with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
which is a brilliant film.
So an odd circle of events has occurred.
Right, and I go, before going into the movie, I go, brilliant. So Shane Black directing and writing with Robert Downey Jr., this is going to be brilliant. Well, here's the other thing. It came out in the summer of 2013, I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Because I remember, every Shane Black story takes place at Christmas for some reason. And so they're doing a Christmas theme movie, and it's coming out in summer, and I hated Iron Man 3.
The kid ruined it for me.
There was so much wrong with it. As I've seen it again more and more, and that's part of the thing with the Marvel movies. If you had problems with it in the movie, the more they show it, the more you're like, actually, I don't mind it. I kind of like it. It grows on me.
Or do you just kind of become anesthetized to the things you didn't like about it?
Yeah,
it's still not. So. It's not so much that you like it. It's like, okay, I can accept this.
And here's the other thing. Someone pointed out to me that the plot of Iron Man 3 is the plot of the movie The Incredibles, which I love. It's, and again, Tony Stark has caused his own problem. He's, someone he has slighted in the past has now become a bad guy, or wanted to be a part of him.
Or his syndrome.
Yeah, he is syndrome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Aldrin Killian is syndrome. It's a whole thing, And then, Pepper Potts comes and saves him. Here's the other thing. There's so much where I'm going, he's got an entire army of suits that he can control remotely. Why did he let them blow up his house? You know what I mean? And the other thing is, I think Ben Kingsley is a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Just make him the Mandarin. Why does he have to be this, British actor? Oh, I was just
And I liked Guy Pearce.
I like Guy Pearce, too.
Yeah, and I didn't buy the, I'm so scared part of Ben Kingsley, who is this great actor.
Right, but I would have bought him as the Mandarin as a full-on, just normal bad guy. So, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm just coming in hot, man.
Coming in hot. So, anyway, at the time, I was just like, no. And then the tag at the end is he's telling Bruce Banner the whole story, as if it was just a story he was telling and Bruce Banner's falling asleep. But so much of me went, I just saw you in the Avengers. If you're having all this trouble,
Couldn't call Thor?
Why couldn't you call your friends?
Couldn't call Thor?
Captain America,
Right.
Agent Romanoff. Bruce Banner is
you
there.
You do have friends in the government who could help out.
Well, not only that, like when all these indestructible, what's it called? The stuff that
the Force,
yeah, God,
the golden heroin,
yeah, the golden heroin. What is it called?
the Gooch.
The Nexus X's, something X's, whatever it is.
I'm never going to be a good resource for
No, you're not. All right.
for specific details.
I just don't know why my mind can't remember it. But anyway, the stuff that makes them into like explodey fire people for some reason, it's like they're indestructible. I was like, call your friend the Hulk. You're talking to him about he could have destroyed all these people. You know what I mean? So it was kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just it felt rushed and they didn't really care.
So here's the thing: if you had told me,
but I liked it because the kid ruined it for me.
Yeah, the kid.
That was just like too much of a.
I hated all
this
that.
This kid's got that good of a garage.
Well, now by the end he does.
But I mean, like that. Like the kid's got a lot of tools. Like
I also found
no kid does that.
This also destroyed Pepper Potts for me in this movie, and I think it's probably why we haven't seen her in another movie.
It felt like she kept gradually checking out.
Well, not only did Gwyneth Paltrow gradually check out, but he's having what is it?
Traumatic
stress disorder from almost exploding, and fighting aliens.
Oh, so, I don't know, saving the universe.
Yeah, exactly. And he's having nightmares, and she just goes, he woke me up, and walks out on him. And I'm going, that doesn't feel on brand, or doesn't feel like.
Sounds like something I would write.
Right.
Men.
Yeah, and I was just like, why wouldn't she be more caring or understanding? And I would understand if he pushed her away and go, I don't want to talk about it, but why would she just this is troublesome for me? And then that other woman in it, Rebecca, what's her name, who worked for Aldrin Killian, like she was a nothing part as well. And I'm like, why?
Well, I think like she was supposed to be the bad guy at one point, from what I had heard.
Right. Well, she creates the serum or whatever.
Right.
And
but like was supposed to have a suit, or I don't like. I believe she was supposed to be more involved.
And then it
just kept getting shaved down. And
interesting.
But yeah, it didn't feel. I feel like because it was Shane Black directing as well as writing, and then I felt like they were having too much fun and not. It
felt like a huge misfire in my opinion.
Yeah, but then again, look back to it. Iron Man 2 was sort of the same thing. It was
that's
sort of a jumbled mess.
And that's what I was going to say. If you told me from Iron Man 1 and Captain America 1 that, hey, there are going to be 2 trilogies with these characters, which one do you think is going to be better? I would have said Iron Man all day, but the Captain America, all 3 are great.
Superb. Well, and like I almost never consider. I always consider
Civil War is like
Avengers 3
2.5.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
because there's so many, but at its core, it's still a Captain America.
Those first
movie.
2 are unbelievable.
But Civil War at its core is still a Captain America.
Yeah,
movie.
it's because it has that theme of that stupid.
You love Bucky.
I don't get it, dude. And Bucky is like like the scenes where he's not being all crazy killing people. He's like this sort of emo weirdo, dude.
Well, he's been shocked. His mind has been wiped so many times.
Dude, he's read books
years.
in the meantime. He's gone to movies.
I don't think so. I think they just freeze him.
You think he's just a killing machine?
Yeah.
You don't think the guy's like picked up a book?
No, I think they literally freeze him. They say they put him back on ice. I think they thought that's why he hasn't aged. They thaw him out every couple of years when they need him, and then they freeze him again.
And then
but he's a shell of himself. Like he's just
right. And then Civil War is about him training those other.
Or he did that in the 90s or whatever.
Right.
Guess. Yeah.
Like he was the leader too.
Yeah. But then they put him back
did
on
he
ice.
kill? Did he kill? He didn't kill Tony's parents, right?
Yes, he did.
I thought he said he didn't.
No, he did.
Oh, he didn't kill the Black Panther's dad.
No, he did not kill the Black Panther.
Can we also do a moratorium on having to put the word black in front of like superheroes that are black? Can we please? Can he just be the Panther?
I mean, Panthers are black.
Yeah, you don't call tigers the orange tigers.
Oh, striped tiger stripes. I have a tiger.
You call them tigers.
listen, man. There's Black War Machine. There's Black.
Exactly.
There's
No, I like that one always. Even
Black
as a
Falcon.
kid.
Yeah, I mean, look.
But he was great. Like everything in Civil War pretty much worked.
Hey man, you're jumping to Phase 3. We can't do that yet. Can't do that yet. So next in Phase 2 is Thor: The Dark World, which you didn't like either.
Yeah, just none of the Thor ones have been really memorable. Even though I really liked Thor 1.
I liked Thor 2. I thought it was fun. The only thing was, and again, we've been introduced to another Infinity Stone. Were we in Iron Man 3? I don't think so.
No.
Thor 2, we get the red whatever. I can't even remember what that's called now.
Yeah.
Another sort of,
and see, I have the biggest problem, and I kind of had it with Avengers, is I don't like robot armies. I don't like fighting robots. That's the problem I have with Ultron.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
So you want actual consequences? Because I mean, if you go back again to your watch over the weekend of Suicide Squad, I mean, they just made them faceless, nothing people.
Right.
And so that you can kill them.
Brutal.
And
They're not
feel
people
fine.
though.
Right.
They're like matter.
That's what I mean. You've got these faceless whatever, and I think that's if we're going into
punch them and their head turns to ash.
Into Star Wars world. That's why the prequels didn't have any real weight to them
Exactly.
because you have droids versus clones, so you do not care who
and you
dies.
make essentially C-3PO a droid, a clone. For
C-3PO.
Or didn't one?
Oh, where they switch heads and bodies or whatever. Yeah. For
So,
all that comic relief.
It's taking out or they're not fighting other bad superheroes.
Right.
They're fighting like robots, dude. Whatever.
So again, I mean, there are a few sequences in Thor 2, like the elf guy, African American elf guy who bulks up. And
Black Elf, I think his name is.
Black Elf, yeah. That's what he is in the Marvel Universe. When he kills Thor's mother and he goes on the rampage and it's just sort of strong. But then this is that point where you get to see Loki and Thor team up. And how can they...
And Loki in jail was dope.
Yeah. I think Avengers started the trend again in film to have the bad guy behind a glass
case.
case.
I think you kind of got to go Silence of the Lambs.
Well, I'm saying I said bring it back.
Gotcha.
So, and I'm not sure if they probably got that idea because Anthony Hopkins is Odin. And they went, oh, it worked well.
Well, I think it's just easier too with shooting.
Yeah.
You don't have bars. You don't like.
Yeah, makes sense. So I like Thor, but again, you get another bad guy that we don't care about. That I can't even remember his name. He's just some sort of elfish bad guy, and they take the Infinity Stone, the Ether. That's what it's called. So they take the Ether, they get it out of Jane Foster, and they take it to the Collector, so that we can see in our. Is it our next movie? Is Guardians? No, next movie's next movie's Winter Soldier.
Which rechanges the game.
Rechanges the game. Now you're getting genre films in these movies, which are unbelievable. Because now you're going, oh, this is a Captain America. This is a superhero movie, but it's also a
spy movie.
Spy movie.
Yeah.
And to get All the President's Men star.
No,
Robert
dude,
Redford.
3 Days of the Condor. I just recently watched 3 Days of the Condor. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't.
It's amazing, and it's basically Winter Soldier, except with Robert Redford as Captain America, and just brilliant suspense and thriller, and the government is the bad guy, and this is that, and who's doing this. But it's Robert Redford as Captain America in that movie, and now he's the bad guy.
Now, here's the other thing. I mean, I followed a little bit. I think I watched the first 2, maybe 2.5 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which brought back Agent Coulson and created a team, and they're basically doing a big Inhumans storyline. And then from what I hear, in the 4th season, they bring in one of the Ghost Riders, which is interesting. And apparently it's people who like it love it. Other people sort of fall off of it. But you get Captain America Winter Soldier blows up S.H.I.E.L.D., essentially.
Right.
Because Hydra is sleeping within S.H.I.E.L.D. You got Zolar, who says we've been there the whole time.
Do you believe him?
Yeah.
Because that was I had written down like it's so confusing to me. Then it so muddles S.H.I.E.L.D. to me
Yeah.
And it so muddles the Avengers to me.
Well, you find out that Nick Fury had no idea that all of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Then how good is he?
Well, he keeps secrets from everybody, and they all look. It's a world of secrets and spies. You find out half of the people are S.H.I.E.L.D. and half the people are Hydra.
So who's Fury?
Fury he was S.H.I.E.L.D. He was everything he was S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he blew it up basically, and that's why. I mean, first of all, that car sequence with Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury,
unbelievable,
is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole movie is pitch perfect.
Completely.
I think I've said pitch perfect several times because we're hotboxing.
Well, and there have been 3 pitch perfect,
yes.
so it makes total sense.
And they're all good movies. They're all funny. Anna Kendrick really does a good job.
I believe you.
Is
that what you got on your Nancy Myers?
It's no Nancy Myers film. But
it's a Nancy Myers pitch perfect weekend.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, no, it's just so well done. And again, ScarJo out of the park.
And you get her. You're never quite sure. She's sometimes flirting with Hawkeye in Avengers. So you're like, do they have a relationship? She starts to flirt with Captain America in Winter Soldier. So are they going to have a relationship?
Out.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So you're never quite sure. And of course, Tony Stark wanted her, and she's like, nah.
Not a chance.
No, I'm good.
I can sense gonorrhea. It's one of my superpowers.
So then we get. Anything more to say on Winter Soldier?
Just loved it. Loved it. All aspects of it. And again, if you go and watch 3 Days of the Condor, it's even better.
Yeah, and again, it made wonderfully by Robert Redford as the bad guy.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned him at all. Shout out to the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
Beyond
another out of the box
sitcom writers.
Yeah. And directors.
Exactly. Sorry. Guys who
Arrested Development. Community.
Didn't grow up in film.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Or I don't know. I don't know their story, unfortunately.
Keep it in the mic.
But man, did they have made 3 or 4 films?
Yep.
And
they're making the 2 new Avengers right now.
Joe Johnston did First Avenger.
I think so.
Out of the park.
Yeah.
Out of the park. Period piece into a 70s spy thriller.
Right.
And then Civil War just kind of came out as, to me, a corporate mess.
Well, they had to break the team for when they got to put them back together for what will be Infinity War.
It just was so much.
Did you like it or no?
I did. I watched it a million times, but it doesn't feel like a Captain America movie. Okay. It just doesn't feel like it feels like it's
Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine in my opinion. I was like, more of this, in all honesty. I mean, look, we'll get there, but
I guess I would have liked to see a more finite end to the trilogy for Cap.
Okay.
And his personal journey, lamely. I know how dumb that sounds.
No, I think he does by the end.
But it's muddled in with his current life, and that's being an Avenger.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
And I guess, we didn't mention the tags at the end of Avengers 1, which I guess the first one is that you find out Thanos is the one who sent Loki.
Right.
And he's the big bad, and he sort of smiles, and he needs to court death. So you're like, oh my God, the Infinity Wars storyline is going to come into play somewhere down the line. So then, you also get the shawarma tag, which I heard an interesting story about recently. I don't know if you want me to go into it or we just continue. It. So apparently the movie was done and they were getting it going, and they said, what would have been funny is if they were all sitting around eating shawarma, and that was like a second tag for the movie. And Kevin Feige goes, well, why didn't you tell me? We should do it. And Joss Whedon goes, really? And how are we going to get the actors back? How are we, blah, 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 blah. They go, you know what? The premiere is 2 weeks before the film comes out. He sent his assistant, who's now a producer on a lot of the films, and goes, we're doing it at the El Capitan in Hollywood. Find me all of the shawarma places in a 2-mile radius and take pictures. And then he just came to Joss Whedon. He goes, pick one. Which one do you like? All right, this one. Called up Robert Downey Jr. first. He goes, here's my idea. We're going to do this shawarma scene. We'll go to the premiere because that's the only time all the actors will be together to promote this. And then we're going to put everybody in costume, hop in a van, and go to the shawarma place and film the tag. And Downey Jr. goes, it's so ridiculous. We have to do it.
Right.
And Chris Evans has a huge beard. Like, they don't look like they're supposed to, so they put like a mask on him. He's got his hand in front of his mouth. So if you really look at it, like, they really had to tweak it, but it made everything of them just sitting there after the long
It's
battle.
funny. I never liked that scene.
You didn't like it?
No.
No, it's funny.
It just didn't work.
Really?
It didn't work.
I thought it was great.
That's funny.
Yep. So anyway, so now we've done Iron Man 3, Thor 2, The Dark World, Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. We come to Guardians of the Galaxy, a James Gunn film that came out of nowhere. And again, I didn't know anything about Guardians, this and that. And what a great time.
It's one of those rare times where, your 2 hours are spent in pure fascination, fun, and like awe.
Well,
and they hit you in the mouth. The thing I feel like what makes Guardians different than all of them, that movie hits you in the mouth as hard as you can be hit in the mouth in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
And so at the core of what you're watching is this unbelievably emotional and really nearly difficult scene to take between a boy watching his mom die
and getting abducted by aliens.
Right. And then he goes into this crazy world that...
We're on the ride with Peter Quill.
And Chris Pratt, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Like, he's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's done 2 good movies.
Right.
You know? It's
true.
And
but it's
the 2 of the biggest movies in Hollywood history.
For sure. And it's brilliant. He does a brilliant job in it. And I think also the soundtrack has a huge thing, and what a brilliant idea to fit that into it, and doing the mixtape volume 1. But, you know...
Yeah, and she's... Zoe Saldana, undercover, great.
Yep.
Doesn't get enough credit for being such a great, solid, strong, fierce, feminine.
Yeah.
But also, I think, gets no credit and deserves a shit ton is Bradley Cooper.
Oh, he kills it. For a guy who was not on set, because James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, who people might know from... Well, he plays one of the Reavers in Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's also like a main cast member on Gilmore Girls. He was the on-set...
voice?
No, or he was in the green suit, and he was the on-set Rocket Raccoon.
Right.
And then, you know, Bradley Cooper comes in and puts so much into it.
Beyond. Like
basically just voice work.
But it was like... The best performances I've ever heard or listened to from a really great actor in a voiceover role was Johnny Depp in Rango. It's one of the it's such a...
Which I've never seen, by the way.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It's such a great... It ends up being the basis for the story for Mad Max. Like, the plot of Mad Max is essentially Rango.
You mean Fury Road?
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this last time. I think this is exact.
It's hysterical. It's hysterical. But where was I?
You were talking about Bradley Cooper?
The performance he puts into it, it's like there's no animation there.
Right.
And how good the animation is.
Oh, the CGI for Groot and for Rocket are unbelievable. I think also, you know, I was speaking about it when it came out. What I really liked about Guardians of the Galaxy, which is what I come to find I like about a lot of movies. I think, you know, we were talking off mic before about the hero's journey, is this movie is Star Wars. You know what I mean? Here's a kid from a planet. He gets thrown into this world. He meets these, you know, he meets the princess of, you know.
And he's Han Solo and Luke.
Yeah, for sure. But you could also say that Rocket is Han Solo and that Groot is his Chewbacca.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, he's such a hybrid Luke Han.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And it's just a fun movie.
Great villain. Great.
Ronan the Accuser is unbelievable.
Benicio del Toro comes in for 6 minutes of...
He's weird, dude.
It's the best.
It's so weird in that movie.
It's the best.
And you get Howard the Duck in that. You get Stan Lee in that. I think you get Cosmo or Cosmonaut Dog or whatever.
The Sputnik Dog.
The Sputnik Dog. I think his name's Cosmo or something like that. So you get all these little Easter eggs. I mean, there's so many of these that are just filled with Easter eggs.
And the relationship, the marrying of all these different characters, placing... without having to see her origin story and their origin story. Right. It's done in 2 lines.
Well, it's brilliant. He's basically doing an Avenger team-up movie with brand new Avengers that, obviously, they're the Guardians.
That didn't have their own individual movies.
They didn't have their movies beforehand. And he does it expertly. And again, James Gunn had sort of done these horror movies before, these sort of eclectic indie... and so giving a guy with vision, the reins to this unknown property.
And an unknown actor.
Yeah.
Or not unknown, but...
not considered... superhero material. He was considered sort of the fat dumpy guy on Parks and Rec. It
was just kind of funny and irreverent, and being able to harness all that, put it into, it's funny. Like I if you look at all the superhero movies, like everybody gets sort of in an uproar, like Lara Croft, Lara Croft's body and like all this stuff, but like every superhero movie, Deadpool, Wolverine, every Wolverine movie, you see dudes' butt, abs, and like there's always the.
And I think we got to give it to these guys who like put their bodies through like the
Chris
ringer.
Pratt from where he went to where he is.
Was,
that's dedication. Period. Whether you like them or not.
If you don't call these real sort of actory movies, these guys are going out of their way
and acting to a green screen,
right? Which is a lot of it. You know
right.
what I mean? They do. It's craziness. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, and again, we get another Infinity Stone. But we destroy another bad guy, so we don't have so all we have is Thanos. And it's the first time we really see Thanos, and it's Josh Brolin in the role. But
I always forget that. That's, to me, how good he is.
And he's just a floating purple man in a chair in the middle of space for some reason. So, anyway.
It's like Archie Bunker.
Exactly. Kind of racist, but let him do his thing.
Yeah, you're just gonna go over there and get Yoda.
Here's the thing: I don't understand. He seems to have a couple of the Infinity Stones and then gives them away for a man for a Titan who
really wants Infinity Stones.
Yeah, so I don't get it. So now we're coming up to the end of Phase 2. It's 2 more in Phase 2. We have Age of Ultron. So Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
My God, this is a long podcast.
Let's end it after Phase 2.
Okay.
And then, we'll talk.
Continue.
We'll do a little bit about what Phase 3 is, and then we can.
Okay, because we've already had 2 movies in Phase 3 that have come out. We'll touch on them lightly. So we got Avengers: Age of Ultron, which broke Joss Whedon.
Yeah, gosh.
Like really broke
it.
And then also, kind of broke the characters a little bit. It was so much service to we're building up the next phase.
I think too probably they got wrapped up a little in how great James Spader was at doing Robert Downey Jr.'s voice.
Yeah.
And probably really saw more of than we saw. Or their ideas. It's a computer enemy.
Well, and I liked what he did, or what I thought he was going to be from from the trailers of what Ultron was. What he became was sort of a whiny teenager, rebelling against his dad. Again, Tony Stark has caused all the trouble. I know in the comics it's supposed to be Hank Pym who creates Ultron, but we made it Tony Stark. And so we get the destruction of Jarvis, so the introduction of
Betty?
Vision.
Who was the chick?
Friday.
Elizabeth?
No, he calls her Friday.
Oh, okay.
Right. His girl Friday. No, Betty, I think it's because Betty is Bruce Banner's... Betty Ross is Bruce Banner's girlfriend in the Hulk universe. So the big... thing to make the Hulkbuster, he calls Veronica. So Betty and Veronica.
Right, got it.
Right. So cute little nod
back
to Archie
really
Comics.
Did that well. Nice little long winding road.
Oh my God, what a full circle that was.
But yeah, it's
the Hulkbusting scene is unbelievable.
That in the thing that I liked was when Cap kind of moves Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Oh yeah. So
that was pretty awesome.
So yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is that you're like, oh my God, this is great. Is the party scene where they're all trying to move the hammer, and yeah, Cap like you're going, what did Captain America do not to be worthy? Scarlett Johansson, or I don't know, keep calling her Scarlett Johansson. So Black Widow doesn't pick up the hammer because in the comic books she is worthy and she actually does become Thor for a little while.
Interesting.
That's why. So again, a lot of it is Joss Whedon's just general knowledge, giving a wink and a nod. Going,
right.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
She doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, I don't need.
And
to
then the sort of really nice relationship with Banner
and Black Widow.
and then the pussification of Hawkeye.
Oh, because well, there was a lot of Hawkeye in there.
And I didn't mind it, but like he was
the family man Hawkeye.
like it to me. It didn't ring true because Jeremy Renner don't seem like that guy.
I mean,
And
he does have a family. I mean, he has children.
Does he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Positive.
Are they his?
Yes. He was. I mean, he was married, and I think he's divorced now.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, because like I was like, this guy seems so
like a
single.
Single guy. Oh, he's single now, so maybe.
But just like not like it did. There was just no real truth to it to me. In that, it was just like nah. He's got like this awesome house. Mm-hmm. Come on.
So here are the things that I really liked in that movie. Because there wasn't a lot, because it was just so all over the place. And again, to call it Age of Ultron, it was like, I don't know, a week and a half of Ultron, or a couple days of Ultron. But I like the introduction of Vision. I mean, Quicksilver was kind of a whatever character. I mean,
yeah, especially after we had just seen the best Quicksilver ever.
Right, and like obviously the X-Men version's powers are so much better, and he can move so much faster.
And he's a better character.
Yeah,
like he's a fun that character was so off the charts. It's like that scene just elevates that movie.
Right.
The Quicksilver in Days of Future Past so elevates, and I forget. Sorry for forgetting the kid's name. Evan Hughes.
Which aren't they both named Evan?
One's Christopher. The other one's got 3 names.
I don't know.
Anthony Johnson.
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the best take on Quicksilver that you could ever hope for an actor to be able to interpret the part that way.
For sure.
Whereas the other one, they were just kind of like these sad twins.
Well, he's kind of fast.
And she's the Ring.
But I liked, she's the Ring. Or Enchantress. I liked Scarlet Witch, though. I thought she was doing interesting stuff, and I like the callback to, like, she makes the Hulk crazy, right? And I like the callback to Hawkeye going, nah, did that basically in the first movie. Like, there are a lot of winks that I like. The takeaways from this movie, I like them being together at the party, trying to pick up the hammer. I love the Hulkbuster scene because it's just, CGI mayhem, but it's great. But it's actually done well.
And I love seeing Hulk be like that angry baby.
Well, they were originally going to make him gray because of the comic book original Gray Hulk until they changed him to green. So I thought, that would have been cool to sort of gray him up and do all that. And then the final thing I liked was this whole Sokovia thing is just Hawkeye talking to Scarlet Witch going, hey, look, there are people flying around. There are robots everywhere. I'm just a guy with a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. And it was such a just like, I know. It's almost like he turned to the audience and went, I know, none of this makes sense.
I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here.
But the minute you step out there, you're an Avenger. And that just brings it all together. Yeah. Again, it was just okay.
Yeah, too much. We had so much love for Avengers, too much expectation.
Right.
The corporate overlords took over.
Right, and too much like, hey,
but I think
you got to build for the next 3 individual movies. Like the whole Thor going into the water thing and having the vision.
That's him without a shirt on. Like it's like.
Well, no. See that I think is going to play into what's going to happen in Thor Ragnarok. Because, I mean, and this is huge sort of spoilery, but the theory is like you see Idris Elba's character as Heimdall blind, and you kind of go, yeah, wait, how can Heimdall see everything? He says he sees souls, right? And this is not my theory. This is on the internet. And so the thought is that his eyes are the final Infinity Stone, which is the Soul Stone.
Interesting.
And that it's going to be ripped out of his skull either by Hela or whoever, or probably Thanos to complete the gauntlet. So you're seeing things where he had to set up things for the next couple of movies. Even the scene where Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark and Captain America are chopping wood at the Hawkeye farm. Ripping wood at the Hawkeye farm. That's building up for Civil War. You're seeing 2 guys with like different ideologies on things and going, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I'll rip your head apart, know, sort of thing.
Well, like I think this is where I ended up just kind of not having that same strong feelings for Marvel. Is since they were bought out for that much money, it became corporate storytelling as opposed to filmmaker storytelling. And
Sort of, but again, I think
that's why Civil War is Avengers 3 and not All the President's Men.
Well, but I feel
or The
like
Departed.
Right. I kind of disagree with you on it. I think they were trying. I think they said, "Hey, Joss Whedon, you did an amazing job on Avengers 1. It obviously brought everything together." I think he did some rewrites on Thor 2. You know, like the funny line where that big rock monster comes and Thor just knocks him out and he goes, "Anyone else?" Like just sort of like all the funny little quippy stuff, which is so Joss Whedon-y. You know, so I think they wrote him a check even bigger for the second one. We go, all right, Avengers 2, let's make it crazy, let's do everything, but make sure you put in this, make sure you put in that, they definitely came into it. I think they realized
they corporatize it.
I think they realized that mistake afterwards, because when you get the next movie, you get Ant-Man, and you're back to form. In my opinion, I thought Ant-Man was great.
Oh, I was bored senseless.
Really?
Bored senseless. I'm not a big Michael Douglas fan. That hurts a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, man.
I love Michael Douglas.
He's like
wonderful.
I just
and I loved
because he played so many creepy, like Bill O'Reilly kind of characters.
Yeah.
That
so you couldn't take him as Hank Pym.
No, I just
See,
he's got that weird voice.
Well, I liked it because it was a heist movie.
Yeah, but I didn't buy Paul Rudd, who I really like.
I love Paul.
And loved him in Civil War.
Yeah, he was great in Civil War.
But I never liked Ant-Man. Never liked the Wasp. I always thought they were ridiculous,
characters,
stupid, the dumbest superpowers you could ever have. The dumbest superpowers.
It came in pretty handy in Civil War.
For a second, when he needed to throw a truck.
What
Didn't you ever see The Empire Strikes Back, dude?
Was that a really old movie? Yeah, cool. So that I guess we could stay on Ant-Man, or that sort of close.
Well, I don't have much to say about it other than it was.
See, it went through a lot of rewrites. It was, Edgar Wright was going to do it for a while, and then Peyton Reed took over.
Scott Pilgrim's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Absolutely love that movie.
It's good.
It's just brilliant. Chris Evans again.
Yeah.
Knocking it out of the park. But I would have loved to have seen Edgar Wright's
version of
Ant-Man.
And I think a lot of people would have.
It was muddly.
But I still liked it. I thought it was great. I thought Paul Rudd was great. I loved the idea of him having a crew. I thought, what's his name? He steals the movie.
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena steals the movie.
No? None of it.
Oh my God.
Wasn't buying any of it.
You will watch Batman v Superman over and over again. Please, just watch Ant-Man again.
Dude, I watched Suicide Squad for the third time last night.
Please, will you just watch Ant-Man again?
The first time I saw it was on a plane.
You can't go off of it on a plane.
Then I tried to watch it again and I couldn't.
Here's the thing, and I think, and I love Doctor Strange. I don't know how you feel about Doctor Strange.
I fell asleep.
Okay, so I feel like Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange and Ant-Man get the same rap of going like, they're both
fifth tier characters now.
Well, they're fifth tier characters, but they're also Phase 1 origin stories again. But we're building up the next round of Avengers. You know what I mean? Because eventually our Iron Mans, our Captain Americas, our Thors, they're going to go away at least for a little while. We can't keep paying these people
until we can get somebody else.
$50 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless, something changes or returns to backhand. Like, I think all the guys or all the main players, they like playing these characters and they have fun and they'll keep going as long as they can.
It's a decade now.
And as long as they can get paid.
Right.
So yeah,
and I liked Doctor Strange. I just was look at how hard I work. The character, the Strange character before he got the cape, I was just
is Tony Stark.
Bored, senseless.
But he's Tony Stark.
But he's like Tony Stark without a sense of humor.
I guess
he's just boring.
I don't know.
I'm not a big Cumberbatch guy either,
really?
So that hurts the cause.
So you've got a lot of actor hangups in these last three. And then it goes. I think we've sort of talked about Civil War throughout it.
Yeah,
that I don't know.
Just awesome, fun.
But it's great.
But not a Captain America movie.
I feel like it is still.
It's not.
And I love the addition of having Tony Stark in there and having Iron Man in there.
So it's a half Iron Man, half
Tony Stark. It's the third
Cap.
It's the third Cap movie and the fourth.
It should have been called Iron Cap.
Iron Cap.
Cap Man.
Iron America. Iron Chef. What is it? Where am I? Oh, the thing I loved probably most of all, where I got like kind of giddy in the movie theater for Civil War, is during the airplane hangar scene.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh,
or the airport scene
Yeah.
rather, and they're lined up on their side, and when they dive in, you're like, this
And
is
how
it.
awesome Spider-Man was.
I know you. Yeah, I know you said, "Hey, remains to be seen." I think this kid Tom Holland is going to be the best Spider-Man.
Yeah. See,
And
I really like the Spider-Man, like the Peter Parker of him. I was like, okay, it's just kind of it's so contrived.
I love the whole Queens thing. I love the whole Brooklyn thing between him and Cap. I thought that was
I
great.
want the old Aunt May.
Yeah.
I want a kid.
I don't know, sexy Aunt May. I like Marissa Tomei is great.
Of course, but
And the whole idea of him with or her with Robert Downey Jr. Like it's such a nod. I mean, look, honestly, if you look at this upcoming
what movie was she in with Robert Downey Jr.?
I can't remember, but I know she was in something with him.
Huh.
It's not Heathers, right?
No, he was.
No.
That was Christian Slater.
Same
Who
thing.
I wish he had a bigger career because I could have made a good job out of doing Christian Slater stuff.
You should try to do voiceover work for Mr. Robot. see what you can do.
Hey, Mr. Robot, let's do some stuff.
You've never seen it, have you?
No.
I think he is Mr. I'm not sure. I've never seen it either. Why don't we call this an episode?
I
We'll
think
take a break.
I think you've been properly inundated with my awful smoke inhalation.
Yeah, I'm getting a little woozy, but I think this is kind of a two-parter since we're going through the whole thing.
Might be.
We haven't touched on Logan.
No,
we haven't
and you
touched
know what
on-
else? And I didn't even write in the notes that I realized we never talk about Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think we're okay with that.
Yeah, it's
No,
great,
but
but
we
like how
can.
that isn't even a part of
Anything
anything
at all. Yeah,
And I liked and hated all of them
yeah,
or both of them.
both of them. I
Yeah.
didn't see the second one. I was going to, and everyone said, "Save your money."
It's worth it just to hear Gwen Stacy's head clock onto the church floor.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was shot.
And I love
whoa.
Emma Stone.
Eh, she's
Emma,
great.
if you're listening, I'm available. So, all right, we'll take a break on this one. This is part one, the 3-hour part one of our review of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Dude, appreciate the time.
Thank you.